We have to acknowledge the truth. And the truth is Texas A&M, they are good. They are very good. I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is Hildreth Media, the YouTube channel. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any football, racing, true crime, news. Let's dive into this game, shall we? So, Texas A&M, as we have seen, has knocked off Notre Dame on the road in South Bend in an absolute thriller, and it came down to what was essentially the final play of the game. Notre Dame, when they scored the touchdown to go up 40-34, the holder mishandled the snap, forcing a no attempt at the extra point, only having Notre Dame up 6. A&M in the closing seconds was able to get the touchdown on 4th and goal and go on and get the biggest win A&M has had since Manziel toppled the Tide many, many moons ago. And normally we'd go down this rabbit hole of, oh, well, maybe Notre Dame's not that good. I mean, we're only 3 weeks in. This is Notre Dame's second game. Yada, yada, yada. But we have to go by Occam's razor. Notre Dame, they lost in a fight with Miami. Miami annihilated South Florida. And South Florida has beaten Boise and Florida. So Texas A&M went to South Bend to a good Notre Dame football team and beat them on their home turf. We have to acknowledge Texas A&M. They are good. They are absolutely a playoff contender. And they are here to cause a ruckus. And we will have many, many more opportunities to see A&M in battle. Next, I believe it is next weekend. Yes, 2 weeks from now. They're on a bye week. 2 weeks from now, we will see A&M and Auburn do battle. Auburn, the book is still out. The jury is still out on Auburn. They have Florida coming up. And later in the year, they have LSU. Missouri looks to be very good. And, of course, that game in late November against Texas, that is going to be in Austin. We will have many more opportunities to see how good Texas A&M is. But right now, we have to acknowledge that Texas A&M, they are good, they are legit, they are for real, because we know Notre Dame is legit and for real. And, I mean, what a day for college football. Like, we have had 2 games back-to-back that are Game of the Year candidates in Georgia, Tennessee, and now Texas A&M, Notre Dame. I mean, what a day. What a magical, amazing day in college football. So let's take a look at these numbers, shall we? First downs, essentially even. Third down efficiency, Notre Dame was a little bit better. Total yards, 488 to Notre Dame's 429. A&M had more passing yards, more yards per attempt. Rushing game, essentially even. Penalties, Notre Dame had the advantage there. Turnovers even. And time of possession, 33 minutes to almost 27 minutes. So Notre Dame outplayed A&M, but it was that one mistake in that key moment in a play most people overlook that was the difference in this matchup. Two very even teams. Notre Dame is a very, very good football team. And Notre Dame, they're up against it now because they now have to run the table. They have to. No ifs, ands, or buts. They have to run the table. They have to beat Purdue, go to Fayetteville and beat Arkansas, Boise, NC State, USC, at Boston College, Navy, at Pitt, Syracuse, at Stanford. Now, granted, it is a very manageable schedule from here on out. They can very easily run the table. But where is that marquee win? Where is that win that is going to separate Notre Dame from the fourth best team in the SEC or the fourth best team in the Big Ten? Where's that win going to come from? We look at the standings. We look at the standings. Let's take a look at the Big Ten. Way too early for this to be able to look, but I mean, we're talking. How is Notre Dame going to differentiate itself from a Illinois, from an Indiana, from who I believe could be a Nebraska, potentially Oregon, Penn State? How are they going to differentiate themselves? How are they going to make the claim that they're better? Because they're not going to have a marquee win. You take a look at the SEC. The SEC, we're looking at how is Notre Dame going to differentiate itself from potentially a Ole Miss, Missouri, Oklahoma, A&M, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee. How are they going to differentiate themselves? Because Tennessee's got a couple big marquee opportunities. Alabama does, A&M does, Oklahoma. They got opportunities where Notre Dame doesn't. And I get that they've only lost by they've lost 2 games by a total of 4 points, but losses have to matter. And how are they going to, and you look at how are they going to differentiate themselves from second or third in the ACC? We're looking at Georgia Tech, Florida State, Miami, Clemson. They're going to have an opportunity to differentiate themselves with a South Carolina, with a Florida State, a potential ACC championship game. They're going to, like I said, Clemson's going to have their opportunities. Where's Notre Dame's? USC? Maybe? I mean, it's just not there. It ain't there. Oh wow, K State lost to. Oh my goodness, I am so behind on K State. Lost to Army and Arizona. Holy cow! Alrighty then. So, I mean, it is a problem. Miami is in a whole heap, or Notre Dame is in a whole heap of trouble. Albeit, and it, and I firmly believe they are a very good football team. But with what they have left on their schedule, they have no way to prove it, unless USC turns it around. Maybe Boston College is better than we expect, which I do think Boston College is a very good team. Not quite the level of what you really need if you're Notre Dame on that resume. And again, they're independent. They don't have a conference championship game to fall back on, like what Clemson does, or potentially a Nebraska, or um, or a Big 12 team. They don't have that final stamp on championship weekend. And for A&M, oh my goodness, how the heavens have opened up for College Station's beloved Aggies. They have the entire world at their feet. They got Auburn in College Station. Mississippi State, they should bowl right on over. Florida, bowl right over. Arkansas, bowl right over. And then at LSU is going to be that tough game. Death Valley, obviously, no joke. At Missouri, that's going to be a tough one. South Carolina, we'll see we'll see on the status of Lenora Sellers. I haven't seen exactly what the injury is to Lenora Sellers. I will look it up right now, but obviously if he's going to be out for a while, then South Carolina is not going to be that marquee win. Let's see. Questions on the star quarterback. Had to be helped off the field. Okay, it was targeting, so I'm guessing some sort of concussion. Looking at it now. Okay. Okay, yeah, Lenora should be okay by then, but I mean, for South Carolina, the next the next week or two it could potentially be brutal. They're going to Columbia, and they just got walloped by Vanderbilt. So we'll see what happens with them. But yeah. And then A&M's got to go to Columbia. Then they got Samford, which we'll talk about that week in the SEC when we get there. And then we got at Texas, as I mentioned, that has been very, very underwhelming thus far. Again, Arch Manning off to a very slow start. I mean, you're not going to get away with that when you get into SEC play. I believe SEC play starts, they still get Sam Houston, but they got to go to Florida. Florida is going to be playing absolutely livid. They are going to be playing full of piss and vinegar. They are now 1-2. They didn't play absolutely terrible against LSU. Obviously not good enough to win, but Death Valley is one of the toughest places in the country to play. So we'll see what happens. But as we roll through, as I mentioned with Florida and LSU, I mean, it was a fight. It wasn't the big blowout that many expected. Florida had more total yards, more passing yards. There was almost no rushing in the game. 3.8 yards a carry for LSU, 2.9 for Florida. 5 turnovers, 5 interceptions thrown by DJ Lagway. And LSU was only able to put 20 on the board. That is more of a statement on LSU than it is on anything else. That is a massive, massive problem for Brian Kelly. You get 5, your defense gives you 5 extra possessions, and you only get 20 points on the board with a Heisman candidate quarterback. Oh my Lord. That is a massive problem for LSU because they are in a very identical boat, albeit they still have safety nets galore, but they are playing. Holy cow, okay. They do get Southeast Louisiana. Don't ask me what their mascot is. I don't know. Kind of funny how SEC teams, the schedule's so tough. We gotta schedule Louisiana Tech, Southeast Louisiana, and Western Kentucky. But again, we'll get to that weekend when we get there. Okay, we'll get there. But and then at Ole Miss, South Carolina, who knows? At Vanderbilt, that's not a gimme. A&M is not a gimme. They, as we have found out tonight, A&M very, very legit at Alabama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, and then at Oklahoma. And that is going to be an Oklahoma team, again, full of piss, vinegar, and revenge. So, those were your 2 big games of the night. I do want to point out Ohio State. They didn't look overwhelmingly great for a very long time. They went into the half at 13-3 lead over the Bobcats. It did get intriguing enough for me to tune in for a bit. I will give the Bobcats credit for that. But, yeah. See, Illinois looked good. Oklahoma. That was a non-story. Iowa State, holy cow. Surviving against the Red Wolves of Arkansas State. What in the world happened here? Identical first downs. The Iowa State defense gave up 382 yards, 220 of it through the air. 160 on the ground and struggled to get Arkansas State's offense off the field. Holy cow. Holy cow. That really makes you wonder, what is the true state of the Big 12? Utah, they went into halftime with Wyoming at 3-0. Then were able to kind of get their stuff together a little bit to win 31-6. I mean, holy cow. And then Auburn, Auburn 31-15 over South Alabama. Those are concerning. Those are concerning numbers. We're going to be honest. Again, Auburn has A&M upon the horizon. They got Oklahoma. They go to Norman next weekend. So I will be talking about that game later in the week. So, yeah. All right. And then Oregon was able to beat Northwestern 34-14. Not quite the blowout the Duck fans were hoping. They were probably hoping for a little bit more, but take into consideration Northwestern, they're not the typical pushover team. They're very slippery. They can be slippery little guys, especially in Evanston. But so I'm not really concerned about Oregon with this game. Arch Manning, once again, as I mentioned, started off very, very slow. Numbers are still bad. QBR rating of 25.5. Got outplayed by I don't want to say outplayed because Malachi Nelson, UTEP's quarterback, he threw a couple picks. But again, only winning by 17 when you're 20, 30 some odd point favorites. Maybe even more. I mean, the enemies at Texas are looking good. Texas isn't. That's a problem for the Lone Star Longhorns. So, all right, that's going to conclude the instant reaction for A&M Notre Dame and some of the games that happened today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, and we'll see you in the next one.